right, team. I decided to put this together for multiple reasons. So thanks for hanging out, but it's going to really set a nice precedence and basis of what we're doing here. Just some it's like three pieces of information that I've kind of pulled apart and wanted to display. Because I think even if you've been with us for a while and you've been hanging out with us for a while, I think it's really, really always so important to go back to the fundamentals. So important to go back to the fundamentals and the basis of why we're doing this because it just locks everything in. So we're going to look at a life that's meant for you can only be lived in the heart. Uh, you've been hanging out with us long enough now to kind of see that, and sometimes that the life that's meant for you sometimes doesn't feel good, but it's meant for you. The heart doesn't make errors. The heart will do all the heavy lifting for you. Right? So much of what we're doing here is a shift of attention into something else. Heart doesn't wait for permission, which is really nice. If you're gonna live a really meaningful life, guys, if you're gonna live a meaningful life that's meant for you, then you can't be doing this permission shit. you know, you can't be stopping halfway. And then I want to go through a little piece of like, where does the heart fit with all this tech stuff at the moment? Which I think is really, really cool little piece. So let's have some fun with it. You guys know what we're about. Um, so let's get the basics here. First of all, there is a giant polarity, right, between your mind and your heart. Right? There is a huge, huge, huge polarity. There are different ends of your being, basically. Now, this mind element, this center, self center in the mind has immense attraction. Like you're drawn to it. You're drawn to it. Just how it's kind of how it works. So here's what's in your mental life. When we compare the mental life to the heart life, let me just show you the size of what you're dealing with here. All material stuff and attraction, all material attraction, and that includes people, mental, all your mentation, all your mentality has an attractive force. Moral has an attractive force. Like what's wrong, what's right, what's good in this world. Ethical, cultural, systemic, educational, developmental, legal, and tech and machine. All of that is pulling you away from your heart. All of it. Every single time, guys, you indulge one of those things, you are selectively choosing not to be in your heart. That's how many things are working against the knowledge and the self that lives kind of seated nice and deep in the heart. Anytime you look at the world, anytime you think a system should be better, or the government, or anything where you should be people should be developing better or faster or whatever, the legal stuff, all of the AI tech and all of your attraction to the material stuff, all of it goes against the heart. Now that doesn't say, and that does not mean that the heart excludes all this stuff. Heart can do all that stuff easily. Heart can do all that stuff so easily. But if you're attracted to it and you think that's where you should be, then the heart just turns off. So if we're going to find this life that's meant for us, that's truly, truly meant for us, there is a hidden attraction. There's a hidden attraction in us that goes the other way. You're not going to feel it. You're not going to know it. You're not even going to be able to recognize it because the first thing that needs to happen is this side here requires an immense negation. If we're going to be honest about this heart life, then the first thing you have to do is say no to all that. That's a task in itself. That's a huge task in itself. To find this hidden attraction that goes the other way. If we're gonna sit here and say there's a life in your heart, it's directly related to you, but it's different to the life in your head and kind of acts differently. Then the first thing you got to know is what to cut off and say no to find this hidden attraction, to find this pull to the heart, to find the pull to something real without freaking out and being super scared. Then you have to find the draw. You have to find the attraction. If you can't say no to this stuff, then well, this is also a reason of like here's a reason why to say no to this stuff. You can just inside with a strong conviction and a strong discipline say no to this stuff. It's not like you just sit there and avoid after it. Something else happens. And what else happens is you start to feel a different attraction. You start to feel a pull in a different way. So that's how we're going to start. The whole session is going to be a comparison. This whole session is going to be mind versus heart. The whole thing. Okay, so we're going to answer all the questions from the start with this comparison. Everything's going to want to pull you to the mind, and there's other things that's going to pull you to the heart. Cool with that? Any questions just on this first of all? Because I just got to get this really, really clear. Okay, this is a giant tug of war inside you, 24/7, all the time, all the time. Now, if we take all of our spiritual systems, we're going to put a little spiritual layer on it because why not? You take all of our spiritual systems, all of them, no matter how cooked they are, no matter how fun, no matter what, all of them will actually turn on the heart attraction. All of them. That's what they're to do. So that's why people feel this pull between like their moral earthly life and their spiritual life is because what's actually happening is that's every little spiritual thing we have ever created has a little pull the other way, a little one. We can go right to the middle and say it's our heart, and then we get right to the meat. But that's why people have good experiences when they explore religion or spirituality in a sincere way, because all of it starts to pull the other way. Now, a lot of it isn't strong enough to get the job done. And a lot of it, none of it describes how strong the pull to the mind is, and none of them ever display how much negation you need. You got to be a little bit crazy. Hey, Brad. So that's the basis, right? We're just going to go through a giant tug of war. A giant tug of war. Let's go. Oh, look at my little animations. Yay. Okay, mind. Let's start with mind. Mind can only rehearse in its limits and so is confronted with constant self doubt. Can we just let that download, please? Mind can only rehearse life, it can only rehearse things inside of its limits. And so, no matter what the mind does, there's always doubt. Always. No matter how much you do, no matter how good you are at it, no matter if you're the best in the world at it, it doesn't matter. If it's mentally derived and motivated, you'll be constantly confronted with your doubt. Okay. So the heart qualities like can only engage. Let me just get this out of the way. Sorry, guys. It's always happened. So it can only engage in the present. It can only engage in the present. And so when things are engaged in a felt way in the present moment and it's stuck there, the heart is stuck in the present and it can't make errors. It can't make errors. And so this thing that sits in the back of your mind forever called doubt is extinguished forever. When you make the transition into your heart, there's no doubt. It's a weird thing to say, but doubt's just not there. How can it be? When you have a knowledge and an action and a will that's locked into the present moment and can't escape it, one, can't make errors. Cool. Two, no doubt. Okay, we're going to just look at some, we're just going to use like really strong categories and do a big comparison. Individuality and authenticity, really bloody important. Really, really, really important. It's what we're here for. If this runs through the mind, then the ideal self-image is created. We create our like best self, right? And then we attempt to get there with effort and striving. That's how the mind does authenticity and individuality. I want to be like that, so I'm going to try and make my life mold to fit that. But when you do that, you will be exhausted because it's mental effort and you'll be triggered all the time when challenged because it ain't fully you. You've created it from your mind. So when the mind creates it, you have to use so much effort and energy, so you just exhaust yourself. Well, what does authenticity and individuality through the heart look like? Well, the essential individual, which is a felt presence in the heart, is of total uniqueness and a known specialness. The heart knows it's special through your individuality. And it is impervious to being offended. When you feel your individuality through your heart, which is the essential individual. There's only one of you ever made. When you feel that, and you go, oh God, I didn't know this trying rubbish. What am I doing this trying stuff for? When you feel your individuality through your heart, you can't be offended. How it's almost childish. It's almost, it just how do you offend that? It's like how do you offend a tree? Oh, your branches aren't the right length. Okay. It just seems a bit silly. Springtime. Okay, strength. Here's an interesting one, especially today. Tell me, what are you laughing at? So you giggled at the
Just,
back
just,
there with
just,
your
just
salmon
the,
shirt on.
just the analogy slash a metaphor that you chose to go with was quite funny to another man sitting over here, to be honest.
Okay, strength. Mental resilience. This is everyone, please listen to this, right? Please. If you're doing like mentally strong stuff, then resilience through the mind just hardens and numbs the being. It just hardens the heart. Like it just turns it to stone. And so the neurotic patterns that hurt people so much, it digs them in deeper and drains vital energy. Like mental resilience is the worst thing you can do. Mental resilience is the worst thing you do. You know why? Because that's like the Iron Age version of resilience. Tell you what the Golden Age version of resilience is. Compassion is way literally stronger than any mental resilience. Literally, compassion has the strength element. An aspect of compassion is diamond strength compared to mental toughness. Mental toughness just hardens people, doesn't do anything. Okay, so when we compare this to heart strength, well, let's look at the essential strength in the heart. It's actually a solid, stable, massive presence. It's like a mass that sits in you. This shows up instantly in adversity and conflict, blending perfectly courage and gentleness. When you do mental stuff, you have to pick a side. You're either being gentle or you're either being courageous. Or you're being you can't do the actual strength part. So essential strength blends courage and gentleness. It's both exhilarating and precise. What an interesting thing. Being strong is exhilarating. In the heart, when you're strong, it's really exhilarating. What's a practical example? Strength in the heart is having vulnerable conversations, or it's having confronting conversations, or it's walking away from something that's not good for you. That's it. That's actually exhilarating, team. We're so dead in our mental life because everything's the same. We just make everything exactly the same. So when you need to do strong, courageous stuff, that's where the exhilaration in life is. The exhilaration is to have that hard conversation or to walk away from that thing that's not good for you or to make a change when you know you need to make a change. Yeah, I gotta really get this. It's so annoying. Okay. Sorry, guys. It's doing it again. Elevator music. Okay, self-worth and personal value. Another important one. I've tried to pick like the top categories that people try to develop in or think in, and really lay them out. So how Tommy, help me out here. How big is the self-worth conversation in this space, right?
Oh,
Massive.
I was going to say, as you said, you're laying out the large categories as you're going through them. I'm sitting here thinking, but the part of the mind that's like, but that is the good thing, and it's almost like the mind's trying to do the good thing in its own way, or trying to
Uh-huh.
do
Uh-huh.
it.
Mm.
It's like you have these
Yep.
religious and spiritual systems, and there's this psychological experience over here that like wants to do it but won't surrender. So it's like, no, we're going to do it
Yep.
our way. We're going to do self worth. We're going to do personal power. We're going to do strength and hard stuff.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
that's
You've got it. The mind is a kind of a really weak reflection of the heart. Seriously. It's all kind of it's the mind is as I said at the start, it can only rehearse. It can only rehearse things. So your mind is trying to rehearse what you naturally know. Seriously. It's always just trying. It feels its intuition to be all this great stuff, so it gets to work. Let's go. Let's do it. But it's a little more technical than that. So self-worth and a sense of personal value on the mental side, when you use your mind, it's outcome and validation dependent. Like it's completely dependent on validation and outcome, always compared against something or someone else. And so when the worth in the mind, it has to inflate itself into pride. That's the only way it has to go, or it deflates itself into victim. Um, and you just see that everywhere in when people are trying to like teach self-worth or try to give examples of it. Like what they're doing is they're just telling people to be more prideful in themselves. And it's really, really, it's actually dangerous. It really is from a conflict point of view and from a social cohesion point of view. It's really, really dangerous to tell people just to inflate themselves and fake it till you make it and be more prideful because you're a worthy person. That's actually deadly. Like people make really, really dumb mistakes when you do that. So there is a really proper way to do self-worth and personal value. And this is just fucking take this one to the bank. It's actually about preciousness, a self-preciousness felt beyond all thought. Right? It's your own worth is not an outcome thing. It's a sense of preciousness. It doesn't depend on anyone or anything. A dignified self-respect and sweetness. Essential personal value. Essential personal value is not an outcome award thing. It's a combination of dignified self-respect, preciousness, and a self-sweetness. That's because that's actually valuable. Like you look at a child before they come into their rational mind, and you're like they're just this like blob of sweetness and preciousness. They could become anything. Could become anything. Wonder how this flower is going to bloom, kind of thing. And that doesn't go away. That doesn't go away. Inside that, it's a dignified self-respect where you see yourself as precious. Something work. Think about when you think of the word precious. Where do you go? What is precious to you? And then can you apply that to yourself? That's value. That's a true sense of value. I'm a precious, precious thing. Okay. So when learning that the heart has many aspects. I think where people get lost is I think the heart conversation is happening, but it's just like nowhere near the depth of, oh, you've got to be in your heart. Well, uh, I think the conversation is happening, but like where does all in? Because it's so deep and there's so many aspects to it. All right, moving you again. Okay, here's a fun one. Here's a fun one. Got to look at some more, I suppose. What aspects are these? These are kind of broader cultural aspects that are being spoken about a lot. So mind can only rehearse in its limits, and again, and so confronted with constant doubt. Same thing. Heart quality in the present moment. So what happens in healing? What happens in healing when we compare heart versus mind? This is a weird one. So mind can do 50% of the job. Mind can actually descend because there's plenty of people doing healing stuff right now, right, through the mind, and they're doing 50% of the job. Mind can go down into the disease state. That's 50% of healing, getting the mind and looking at stuff. But mind cannot heal. Thinking about stuff, doing processes, doing methods, changing beliefs. Insert any method in there. The mind cannot heal. The mind is not a healer. The mind is not a healer. The mind is not a healer. The mind is a director and an analyzer. Done. Done. The mind is a director and an analyzer. Full stop. So it can direct attention and it can analyze, but it cannot heal. So anytime the mind tries to be a healer, all it does is move things around. That's all it does. New box, new category. New box, new category. New box, new category. Hey Danielle. Oh, so many boxes. It's so many categories. I need a director for my direction. Look how much work I've done. I'm going so far. Sorry, guys. Too much fun. No, I'm gonna be so hated. I'm gonna be so hated. So let's talk about the actual healer. Let's talk about the actual healer, right? If we're gonna talk about healing, let's talk about the actual healer. Heart does the other 50%, which is the concomitant ascent. Mine can go down, but it needs its relationship in the ascent. And the ascending part of the human being is the healer. This is how it goes. So the ascent into the pure solution, which it brings back down into the being, the heart reaches for pure solutions, actual medicine, actual healing from the inside. You got the guys on this call who've been hanging out with us. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You know exactly what I'm talking about. The heart reaches, finds the truth, brings it back down. You go, oh, and what was so painful and so much resistance and so much anxiety and so much stress just gets iced like an ice pack. Oh, that's why that's happening. So mind is not a healer. It cannot heal. All of it doesn't heal. It just looks. That's why people say, I've done so much. I'm so aware. Now what? It's because the heart engine actually lifts you out of your disease states and you go, oh, whoa, this is how it's meant to be. This is so good. And then you got to pull that back down. And the heart does it naturally. You don't have to do that. You don't have to direct it to do that. That's what it's what it's waiting to do. Okay. Again. Okay, next one. This is a fun one. This is a fun one. Trust. Huge aspect of the heart. If we're talking about trust all the time. If we look at the mental part of our life with trust, mind has no capacity to experience trust. Mind has no capacity to experience trust. So you can do like guys, I know people, we know people, Tommy can confirm this. We all know people that have spent an equal amount of time in the personal development stuff as a degree. Easy, right? Easy. 4 years personal development, no problem. 4 year degree, same. You can spend 4 years working on yourself and still have no trust. No, imagine that. Imagine doing a university degree time spending on yourself, and you still know in your mind you doubt yourself and you don't trust. You spend 4 years in the heart, you'll be sitting at the top of the Himalayan mountains directing the cosmos. So mind has no capacity to experience trust. It's not in there. Wrong place, wrong sandpit. Okay, so let's look at the heart then. What does the heart do with trust? Essential trust is the only experience of safety in this life. Can I get that through clear enough? Essential trust, the trust that is in the heart as an aspect of your heart, is the only safe place in this life. Everything else besides essential trust is subject to change. The heart quality called essential trust is life's eternal safe haven. Essential trust. This is where, like, the safety is such a big word today. Safety. Let's just talk about safety. Being a safe person, creating safe places, having safe environments, being a safe partner, being emotionally safe, data, all incorrect. All of it. All of it is false. All of it is absolute bullshit. We're trying, but this is what you get when the mind tries to do a heart thing. Mind is trying to do a heart thing. Safety is not a mind thing. So you can't make people safe. You can't make places safe. You can't make emotions safe. You can't make lovers and partners safe. That is incorrect. Because there exists in this life a truly safe place, and it is in your own heart called essential trust. Everything else is subject to change. How can things be subject to change? Be safe. So what's subject to change is hence not safe because it will activate your nervous system in a way that you're not ready for. No nervous system can be fully primed and ready, nor can you create conditions around you in people or places to keep your nervous system safe and rested. That is absolute rubbish. Fun story. Fun story. Um, my father-in-law is, you know, 60-year-old guy, pretty traditional. And Braden and I bring him some just funny stories sometimes. And I get the 60-year-old opinion on things. And holy shit, he's not allowed out of his house. He should not speak in public. Today he would just get absolutely ripped apart. Okay. So I overheard a conversation. I overheard a conversation in a cafe. And this woman who was talking, I know Braden knows her. And she said, I had to leave my place of work because sorry, I had to leave, I had to leave my place of work because it was activating my nervous system too much. And I go, oh, that's I go, in my head, crazy. I go, that's an interesting thing to say. Um, and then who she was talking to was like, oh, okay, yeah, no worries. Like, what are you doing now? And she's like, oh, I don't know. I don't have any plans. And I'm like, hang on. Okay. So we've got an individual floating around here who's made a decision to leave her workplace because her nervous system is being activated. That's in her mind with no plan. Oh, no, I don't really have a plan. Okay, well, okay. I just earmarked that. And I went, I got to take this to Braden just to see what just to see what Braden says. And Braden's pretty like wife's pretty tough. She's got a shitload of essential strength. She's just like, ugh. Anyway, we take it to my father-in-law and say, hey, Gareth, got a fun story for you. I overheard this woman leave her workplace because I told him because I just wanted to see his face. Yeah, so she left because her nervous system was being activated. And Gareth goes, what? I was like, yeah, mate. Look, and he goes, I thought you go to work to pay the rent. It was just so poignant of like, yeah, he was just dumbfounded of why that's a thing. You know, people can leave their place of work because their nervous system's being activated. Gareth's like, go pay your rent. This is the danger of knowledge. This is the danger of half knowledge. Because my nervous system's being activated. Well, yeah. I mean, Jesus Christ. Back to my example, we've got this really strange idea of safety. Okay, it's so far away from the truth of things. It's painfully far away from the truth of things. You can't do shit if you have an expectation or an entitlement to safety. Say goodbye to your life. Say goodbye. Any questions on that, or like, do we want to pause for some? Yeah, let's pause for some chat panel action before we go into relationships. What are you thinking? What are you feeling? Just lost someone. I'm not safe in here. Bye. Danielle, this is you and I, very first meeting.
Jump into the chat team. Want to see some comments coming through. AP says good distinctions to differentiate between mind and heart.
Yeah, central trust is the only safe place. There's people on here who have realized that aspect, cleaned up the stuff around it, and you go, oh, we got some giggles. What's going on?
AP's enjoying that you're poking Danielle, and someone else
I
just
really,
left.
yeah, I know. I'm so sorry if I don't mean to undermine. I really don't, and I'm sorry if that's happening. But you know, Jesus, we could, yeah,
Got a question coming through.
yeah.
So he's asked. So if someone says they feel safe around me, is that a reflection of something or just their mind?
No, that's it. If that's essential trust being felt by another person, that's it. That's how you do it. If another person is saying around you, I feel safe, right? They're kind of snuggling in to your essential trust. Yeah, see, like, say whoever that was, I feel safe around you. Okay, they're feeling safe around you. That's something to do with you, obviously, right? Is if your heart is on and flowing, right? People are going to feel safe around you, and if you criticize them in that space, they're not going to get fired up and not going to have this big recoil reaction or whatever. Are we ready to go on relationships? Really simple one. Really simple. Mind in relationships, it reaches a limit because mind has its limits, and it reaches its limits at equality, needs systems, and subtle ownership and sentimentality. That's the limits of the mind. It's equality, like we're got to be the same. Like, how many times in a relationship you go, well, look, oh, I'm going out. Wife goes, I'm going out with the girls this weekend, and the guy goes, well, I'll put that one in the bank because that means I got a weekend out somewhere. Like and that's just what the mind does in relationships. It's just needs systems. Well, you did this for me, what do I do that for you? And we just that just gets stuck in a limit. And then there's really subtle ownership in relationships that just stay in the mind. Like, there's this unwritten expectation of, like, in a relationship you don't do this and this. Why? Because we're in a relationship. What the do you mean? That's subtle ownership. Let's just say it how it is. Relationships that are mainly mental, mainly need systems, and mainly attachment based, and they obviously have heart to it as well. This everything here can be blended 50-50, no problem. Everything can be blended, which is sometimes even harder to be blended, half in your heart and half in your mind. But if we say, oh, in a relationship we don't do this, that's a mental boundary and it's subtle ownership. Well, I own you now because we're in a relationship. A little bit. And that's how it is. That's if so. And then sentimentality. The reason why sentimentality is important is because when the relationship is lived through the mind, all the good feelings go eventually. See ya. You can wave goodbye to the good. So you cling on to the sentimentality. Hey, babe, remember when we did this? How fun was that? Remember this restaurant? We need to go back there. It just lives on the steam of what used to be there. That's what a relationship in through the mind looks like and feels like. And that's where it gets stuck. Mind has its limits. Well, I kind of going to rip you guys off here a little bit, but I had to. I'm going to rip you off a little bit. Relationships in the heart. I want you guys to go figure that one out. That's like, I'm not, if you're in a relationship, the Jesus, you bring your heart to the table. All I want to say about that is the fact that all the good feelings in a relationship, all the best, yummy, good, delicious, sweet feelings in a relationship, they can stay and get deeper and deeper and better and deeper and stronger and richer and more constantly. That's all I'll say. Okay. So, everything in mind, you got to understand everything in mind has its roots in deficiency. Everything in the mind is rooted in an original deficiency. Facts. Anything the mind creates, implements, and strives for has emerged from innate deficiency and insecurity. It's innate. It's just how the mind, what it is. And so you can only produce the experience of deficiency and fundamental insecurity. I'll say it again. No matter how you can do a degree's length of work on your mental stuff, and you can learn some cool things, and you can learn, and you can learn knowledge, you can learn facts and cool stuff, but your experience of yourself will stay deficient and insecure. The actual experience of you, even if you're really good at convincing yourself you're not, Even if you get really good at those mental tricks, you still in your private times will feel a sense of deficiency and a sense of insecurity and a sense of doubt. More comparisons. This is going to be some of the, well, suppose the darker side of these comparisons. Georgie, hey Tommy, is Georgie in the class? I just see her in the waiting room sitting there. Okay, mind when faced with suffering. We're going to talk about some suffering stuff. Mind when faced with suffering becomes more confident in its falsehood. I'll just pull that one apart for you a little bit. In suffering and like strong attachment and addiction and things like that, the mind becomes incredibly confident. It knows how to get out of it. I can do this. I can get out of it. I've got everything. The mind becomes so confident in itself when you're really locked into your mind, and that's all you're working with. When things get hard, because that's what life does. Life can life on you whenever it wants and get really, really hard and really challenging. Then the mind gets hyper confident in itself. And when it does that, it's getting more confident in its own bullshit. It's getting more confident. Like how many times have you seen people go through a really hard time and they just get really confident that everything's okay? And you're like, dude, things are not okay right now. Things are not okay. Why? How are you being so confident right now? You should be shaking like a leaf and praying or something. So the mind resists all types of surrender. Okay, all real surrender, the mind in hard times will resist massively. Okay, the heart, when faced with suffering, goes to work for you. Goes to work for you. Heart goes, if I'm hurting, there's a hidden disharmony the mind can't see. I'll go sort it out. Best little like secret agent. When the mind goes, I'm so confident, I know what's going on, and I know what's wrong, and I know how to fix it. Mind goes, oh, there's all this shit you can't see. Let me go to work for it.
Now,
So that's why when
is there a link there to why when beginning the heart's process or life beyond mind, there seems to be a tipping point where you can't escape the falsehood or the attachment?
yeah,
Because it seems
bingo.
like, in my experience, doing mental work is you are triggered or experience a falsehood style of behavior. For example, let's just say become needy, and then you
Yep,
become aware of it, and then you go to work
yep,
on it. And you have no idea that
yep,
going to work on it is a part of the puppeteer game. It's,
yep,
so there seems to be a tipping point where there'll be some falsehood behavior happening, and you can't gravitate or go to work on it in any way other than what is going to create some form of harmony. As you
yep,
said, the secret agent. It's just an interesting observation. Is this the link of like the heart will start dissolving boundaries beyond your
yes.
incessant brain determining on how it's going to be dissolved?
Bingo. Yep. Bingo. Go back to the slide number one. That doesn't happen unless the majority of the person or the being shifts into the heart attraction. That does like the heart does its magic, but there's got to be a. We'll get there. We'll get there. TC. Addiction. Let's talk about what happens in addiction. Mind versus heart. Interesting one. This is a real strange one. Addiction. Addiction creates subpersonalities, right? That's what it does. Addiction and subpersonalities completely dominate the small power of mind, and the mind self is forever chained. So mind cannot do addiction. Addiction owns mind. The other way around. Addiction owns your mind. Your mind is the addicted thing. And the addiction, if you've ever been addicted to anything, you will know what it does to your mind. It creates an entire different reality where your addiction is totally okay no matter what. That's what addiction does. Oh, this is totally okay. Everything's burning. No, this is totally okay. No matter, your life can be burning down behind you, and your mind goes, no, you just go have a couple of beers. They're the fucking problem. Mind just, it's what addiction owns the mind. Addiction is bigger than the mind. And so again, it's pointless. The mind approach to addiction is absolutely pointless. TC, you got some things to say there?
Why do you say that? Because I look inquisitive, like
Just
I
like
ask,
I
want to ask
feel.
a question, or because you know my history? You bastard.
TC chime in, known
Uh,
history.
Well, it's just interesting as you're talking. It's so rare, and for myself back in the heyday, but it's so rare to come across someone who's experiencing active addiction who doesn't also hold multiple perspectives on life that suit them at the time of day.
Totally,
So
totally.
you've
Everything will suit
got
my
someone
addiction.
who's yeah, and that's interesting. You so often see subpersonality disorder like playing out. It's like I hate myself and I hate the fact that I drink or I gamble. And then the Thursday afternoon, it's like, no, this is
Yeah.
the best. Like there's multiple identities going on.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah. So mind, it just gets owned. It's like a addiction, like a vine, just wraps up the mind. It's like plaything. You're just my plaything now for my addiction. Okay. Heart. Oh, it's the only way, guys. It's the only way. Heart force can stand toe to toe with any addiction with a real chance of victory. The heart self can enlarge bigger than anything. It can enlarge bigger than the addiction. It's the only way out of addiction. There's a force in the heart that can stand toe to toe when you actually find some essential strength. When people say like you hear addicts, recovering addicts, and they just say, one day I just made a fucking choice and just went, no, never again. I just had what rock bottom moment. The people addicts gonna have 20 rock bottom moments. It doesn't matter. And they go, no, there was one day where I just made a choice. Something exploded in their heart. Every single time an addict has gone, no, I'm out, and just use raw power, which is the only way out of addiction. It's the only true way out of addiction. When it comes down to it, it's just a raw negation and power. That power that only comes from the heart. Facts. It's not I just changed my mindset. It's like, no, 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 no. Something exploded in your heart and brought a new force to the table that could actually do it. So it's so hard seeing family members and loved ones and clients, struggle with addiction around them. And they're just like, oh, I just want to help this person so bad. I just want to get them out of it. Sorry, addiction is a very solo journey because the only thing that can do it is that person's heart. You can't, yeah. But the heart can do it. Good news is, good news is we know how to get into the heart pretty solidly now. And good news is we know how to turn that sucker on without a come to Jesus moment. Yay, bro. Okay, anxiety, depression, huge one again. Pretty scary one as well. This is a disease state. Waves of the disease state possess the mind. Then you are trying to fight or cure disease with the diseased. Go back to our healing one. Mind can do 50%, right? So the mind will run around the tree of this anxiety and depression for fucking years. How many people do you know, like, they got mood disorders for 10, 20 years? And they go, oh, this is just me now. And they just run around that same tree over and over and over. The trickiest thing to understand about mind and these disease states is that the anxiety and depression is mind in a diseased state. That's mind in a diseased state. The mind is carrying the disease. So it's the disease trying to fix the disease. And people just go mad. Like people just go absolutely mad. Anxiety, because there's a lot of components to us. There's a lot of feeling and thinking and knowing components to us. Of mind is just one territory. Okay, what does the heart do with this? Well, heart consciousness consumes all disease states in the mental, vital, and physical automatically with no effort from you. Like that's the transformation we're talking about here. Heart will just eat depression, anxiety, yum yum yum, raw 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 raw. Just eat it up. It brings the medicine directly to the site from the inside. If there is a disease state or a dysfunction, when the heart opens, it has to fix it. It has to. It has to fix it. That's what it's there for. It's its primary job. We can't do it to ourselves on our own will or on our own timing, even. The heart does it automatically because it can't function in a diseased state. If the heart opens, it's kind of like this. Our mind is so convinced with being the best and being our ideal and da 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 da. Heart also, but it does it in a different way. When the heart opens, it doesn't go, let's rise to the stars. When the heart opens, it goes, what's out of whack? Fix it. What's out of whack? Fix it. What's out of whack? Fix it. And if you do that over and over, you end up in the same place. You end up in the fucking same place. So you can either try and create your ladder and climb it with all this effort, maybe, or you open the heart and the heart just sits and waits for any disruption. It goes, solve that, fix that, look at that. And the same thing happens. In the heart, you're guaranteed because you're building foundation and layers of health and strength every single time. So you don't fall. Mind, you always fall. Mind, you can do best self for a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months at best, and then you fall guaranteed. Heart, you don't fall because you're building something new. You don't fall. Questions? Let's go on the chat panel. How are you feeling about these ones? These are different. This is just good to know. How are we feeling? What are we seeing?
He says just making the heart's journey very appealing.
Thanks,
AP,
mate.
AP, how beneficial? Because your question, not questions, but a few things you pointed out
This
when
is
we were
AP
chatting in
inspired.
Messenger. Yeah, a few weeks ago. A little bit of inspiration here for this class. The clear distinction between the difference.
Yeah,
Danielle
I think it's
showing.
great. Very clear distinctions between mind and heart. And I just think this is a great entry point for people coming into this work to to be like, yeah, fuck, the heart's journey sounds a whole lot better than the shit I've been doing. So, yeah, man, it's a good
Yeah,
class.
cool. Thanks, mate. We can really appreciate the new GUI banner. That's new, by the way. How cool is that? It's also massive. I'm really close to the screen. That's really far behind me. It's 3 meters wide. Okay, suffering. A contentious one. We all hate it. We don't want it. Feels bad. Sets off alarm bells. Thinks everything. It makes us think everything going wrong and life is terrible. Just in the mind, right? What the best the mind can do with suffering is create walls and diversions in the face of suffering, which, Jesus, it's doing its best. Mind can pause suffering, but it shifts the disease state or the discomfort into the subconscious or into the physical body. Okay. That's what happens if you use your mind to manage suffering or cope. Then what you do is you're shifting the pressure somewhere else. Mind cannot heal. So you either pause the suffering and shift it into the subconscious for a later date or never again, and it just sits there. And if you do that often enough, then it ends up in the physical body. And then what happens is the disease state that was showing up in consciousness now will show up in the body because mind cannot heal. So this is a really, really bloody important one. Right? Mind can create walls. Right? So you can split off things and shelf them. You can create diversions by trying to recreate meanings. Well, this just means that, and you can take the edge off there. But it just shifts. It just shifts around to a later date or to a different part of the being. Now that's a pretty strong mental attitude. A lot of people have a 50-50. You can be in the middle of this too. And in the middle of is like, I'm feeling it, but then I'm labeling it, so you're kind of there. But let's look at what the heart does full whack with suffering. This is pretty fascinating. Death, evil, injustice, loss, the big ones, the big, where people suffer a lot. The heart is the only psychic center that is able to recognize the necessity, wisdom, grace, and practical reasons for all suffering experiences. The heart doesn't solve suffering because it can't, and it knows it can't. The heart knows that suffering is a type of consciousness. It's a type of reality that you can't get away from. So what the heart doesn't try and heal it. The heart goes, it's necessary that it's here. There's grace in it. There's practical reasons for it. Let's figure that out. Let's figure out the practical reasons for suffering. Let's figure out the grace in it. Let's figure out why it has to be this way without alarm bells. Let's figure out the necessity of it. Mind when it looks at suffering, that's not a necessity. This is an absolute punish. Get me out of here. The heart intelligence and knowledge says, no, 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 no. Suffering is a necessity for you, little darling. You need to figure out why. You need to feel why. And it's okay. All right. So that's that's just like a really top level runaround difference between the heart and the mind. It's just a game changer. But to go back to the start, you're in a pull all the time. It looks great, right? Looks great. Looks like the promised land because it kind of is. Kind of is the promised land. But everything's going to try and pull you the other way. Everything. And you're going to be convinced. Everything's going to pull you the other way. Now I'm going to add a piece on. I'm going to add a piece on here. The technium, this tech stuff, is an even stronger pull away. Because guess what created all of our technium? Technium is everything technology. Guess what created that? The mind. It's created a stronger magnet away from the heart the other way. Are we all clear with that? We all clear with that message? Mind pulls us away. Mind, culture, educate, all that pulls us away. That thing pulls us away even more. Social stuff, digital currency, AI, extended reality, which is augmented reality, virtual reality, blah, 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 blah. Gaming, simulations. This technium, guys, that we've created with our own mind, which is a stronger magnet the other way from the heart, what I'm talking about, is self-organizing, self-expanding, dependent on energy and information, and it has a will to increase in complexity, which fucking means it's alive, okay? That's all that means, is it's alive. And guess what it feeds on? You. Its information is from you. Its energy is from you. Its will to increase its complexity is to consume you. Do we understand? Am I clear? Okay. Everything you give to that machine, you lose from your heart. Everything. Everything. Every convenience or relief you think you're getting from tech, because that's what it gives you, convenience and relief. Every convenience and relief you give over, please know you're choosing your side. You're choosing your side. And there would be no fucking complaints or whinging or, oh, no. You chose your side. The more you dabble in this stuff at any level of life, the more you're choosing your side. I got into an argument, right? This is so funny. I got into an argument with my brother at my brother's place about this. And I was like, dude, this tech stuff is freaking me out because, you know, when I look at it, it's just going to keep happening, and it's going to end up there's going to be a digital everything. There you go. That's what to expect. Just expect a digital everything to be coming. The digital and tech stuff is not advancing us anymore. It's its own thing. It's its own world. Okay? It's not our future. It's here and it's splitting us into two. It's just that thing now. It's not the future. It's not the future. The future's done. Future's done. It's not the future. It's a splitting away. So I was having an argument with my brother about this, and we like to argue a lot. And we were sitting there, and all of a sudden he got frustrated because I was pushing and pushing and pushing. You know what? Without it, so unconsciously, he sat at his computer gaming and put his headphones on and started playing Age of Empires. And I'm like, see, you little, you got out of it. You bailed on an argument. You bailed on something, and then straight back in. And he just looked around like this, like just stunned of how baked in this tech stuff is. And I'm not anti, just giving you what you can work with. All of I'm just just make your choice. And the youngins here, youngins here, best of luck. I'm so glad I was born in the 90s. I was born on the cusp. 1990, I was born. So, oh no, what's that? Okay, the more you invest there, the harder it is to do hard stuff. That's as simple as it. The more you give over there, it looks all good. It doesn't look dangerous. It looks all fine. It's all good. It's all good. And from all of the cultural lenses of moral, it is all good. It's fine. It's just technology, right? It's just technology. It's fine. All of our mental and moral and sentimental and relationships, it's like, yeah, it can all enhance it. And we're all learning stuff from this tech and it's all great and it's all relieving and it's all convenient. And oh my God, we're at the future, blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, there's a fucking cost for everything the mind creates because the mind's in duality. There's a cost for everything. Where's the cost? I'm telling you right now, that's the cost. I'm telling you right now, the cost is massive and it's hidden. The cost is absolutely massive and it's hidden. Because you know what? Guess what all of you do with free time now? What do you all do with free time? And if you have a block of free, you might finish work at 12 o'clock. You've got the whole afternoon. What do? How much of that is spent in the technium? Because the technium has nothing essential. Nothing. None of it's essential. None of it is essential. Am I saying that clear enough? None of it is essential. It's an addition to the culture. It's an extension of the culture. And it's a terrifying place to the heart. Because it just dries it up completely. If you do some essential work, which I recommend everyone does, even if this is just a fucking insurance policy, right? Even if you just want to do this just as an insurance policy against this shit, still worth it. You do some essential stuff, you can tip the scales. You can tip the scales. And you can fight for something that's going to remain real because that technium is like a magnet and it's just going to consume everything into it, including your own mind. Because it's an extension of it. And it has a magnet, it has a pole, it has an attraction. You think everyone plus to their phone is just like the next evolutionary thing? You know the force of this thing? Every human being's getting sucked into it. What? That's just how it goes. No. It's not just how it goes. You got to choose. You got to choose. How are we feeling? How are we feeling? How are we feeling? Don't if you're being fooled, like, oh, we can just put half our life on here, and this is everyone's just going to communicate in here anyway. So da 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 da. No. The technium is an alive organism that has no essential nature to it. None. What do you think happens when people try to heal themselves or do psych work and chat GTP? They'll end up insane. Guess what? Chat GTP doesn't have a heart. It can't heal. Chat GTP can't heal shit. It gives you new categories and moves it around. Just like I said. That's all it does. All it fucking does. It's a weasel. It's nothing. Oh, I thought that slide was going to be a breeze over slide. Something's triggered me. Let's chat before I wrap up. Oh my God. Oh my God. Wait, sorry
Go,
guys.
Bridie.
We're gonna have to wrap up. Yeah, go.
Bridie, did you want to share something?
Guys, just to emphasize the absolute pull of the tech.
Yeah.
The tech space is like literally it's the last thing I'm hiding behind. And I have like I spent hours on there just to try and run away from myself. So I'm really like I'm scared for now that I'm so aware of it. Like
Yep.
woo!
Good. Let's go. We're gonna have to breeze over this. I'll send it out as a PDF. This is just a really nice kind of comparison slide of heart and put a motivational aspect in there. I'll send it out because it's really good. I want everyone to have it, but we're moving on. Okay. Inside of your heart lives a life that's meant for you. It's in the heart, right? Your only job is to shift your attention. The heart knowledge and heart work. Your heart is the heart forces you to remove you from things that aren't good for you. It does it by force. If things aren't good for you, the heart just takes you away from it. The rest takes care of itself in every person, every time, and in every circumstance. How does this work? Well, we go through 3 layers. You guys know this. First, layer number 1, life beyond mind fundamentals, knowledge and methods to beat mental and technium attraction. Like that's the first thing. Is the first life beyond mind fundamentals is about shifting that attention back the other way. Getting the heart going, because the heart has a magnet too. Stage number 2 is when you come into contact with your heart, you realize you have to rebuild some shit because it's a bit hurt. It's a bit ouchy. It's a little bit ouchy, and you got to put its integrity back together. And then you start to feel its new language. And then lastly, then living completely inside your heart, unaffected and unimpeded, the attraction to the heart has superseded all other attractions. The whole point is you can turn the heart on so much that the heart attraction is stronger than both of it. That's the whole point. The heart is stronger than both of it. It's just asleep. It's stronger than both of it. It's just asleep. So last slide, and then you guys can get out of here. Let me finish off with this, right? Mind does not realize it's a step in a greater evolution. Any insight you have through the mind, it has to break through the mind to get to you. It comes infrequently and haphazardly. Right? Insight through the mind becomes infrequently and haphazardly. Mind is a middle term. Mind's final action is to deliver you to the door of the heart. The final action is to take you to the door of the heart. Heart insight, right? The heart is the engine of evolution. Why am I taking you guys to the heart? It's the engine of evolution. It accelerates everything. One focused day in the heart can contain 12 months of progress. It's an accelerator, okay? It's a giant accelerator. Where insight comes into the mind haphazardly and kind of distorted, with the heart, where I'm taking you into the place where insight comes from. So there's no mental barrier that diminishes it or distorts it. The funnest bit about the heart's journey is you're going to drown in mouthfuls of insight. You're going to drown in insight. You're going to learn to chew really fast on your own insight. Mind work is like you have an insight now and then. You have an insight now and then. Heart work, you can have 30 insights a day. It's a different problem. It's a completely different problem. Your heart can just explode. Truth. And you just go, whoa, holy shit. Because it is the magnet the other way. It's the magnet the other way. So we're done. We're finished. That was the class. Yay, thanks, AP. Thanks. So there'll be links. You can the 3-step process is our life beyond mind pathways process is what we do. Very easy to do. It's just kickstarting the magnet the other way, and then everything kind of looks after itself. But we'll have links and stuff related where you can check all the information out about how we do it. Questions, team? How we feeling? Hopeful. We're going to war. We're going to war against machines.
Angelique shared, thank you. Lots to feel into regarding kids and tech.
Yep. Yes, there is, guys. There's a shitload to feel into. It's just 2 giant magnets, okay? It's 2 giant magnets. Mind and tech on one side, heart on the other. That's why they're so unrelated. Do not be fooled. They are not the same. There is nothing essential in mind and tech. Look at what it does. Look at what it creates. Come on, open your eyes. Look at who wins. Look at who gets hurt. Jesus, it's not that hard. We done, TZ?
We are well done. We're cooked.
Okay.
In the best way. There's no better compliment to an open teaching group than what someone just wrote through, which was there's a lot to feel into.
Yeah.
Right. There you go. Inquiry.
Do not let that FOMO bullshit or buy into the I have to keep up with everything. No, you fucking don't. No way. I ain't keeping up with shit. You ask anyone around me. I haven't touched anything for years. Years. I don't touch any of it. Any of it. It's not, you don't need it. See through the bluff. Seriously, you don't fucking need it. It's boring. All of it's a mirage. Nothing there. Come on, let's go.
Thanks, NH.
All right.
Ripper of a class,
No
my friend.
worries. Just use it to fucking find a restaurant or something. That's it. That's it. That's it. Just come on. See you guys.